Amiskwaciwâskahikan, otherwise known as Edmonton, is a city deeply rooted in arts and culture. Home to diverse, passionate, emerging voices in music who deserve to be heard and appreciated. I'm Vissia, and this is Dirt City Songbook.
Hey, we're STEM Champ, and we're from here, Amiskwaciwâskahikan, on Treaty 6 territory, colonially known as Edmonton, Alberta. And we like to rock.
All right, STEM Champ. Well, half of STEM Champ, I guess.
Yeah, hi.
Thanks for sitting down with me and for being part of this. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us. This is supremely cool.
Oh my gosh, thank you. So do you want to just quickly introduce yourselves so we know who is who?
Sure. My name's Sarah. I sing and play guitar and write.
Mm-hmm.
And my name is Zane, and I play the drums.
And who are the members that aren't sitting with us?
So the other members are Caitlin, who's holding it down on the bass, and Daniela, who plays the synth.
Awesome. So STEM Champ started out as a solo project and has recently bloomed into this gorgeous band. So how did, I guess let's start with, what is the story of STEM Champ, and even digging into where the name comes from?
Sure, yeah. So STEM Champ really started in a dorm room when I was like studying engineering. So like science, technology, engineering, and math, sort of that sort of bubble. And I loved music, loved going to shows, but I was always like, I don't know if I can do that. But I had like this light bulb moment when I was at like a Tegan and Sarah show, and I was like watching them and watching their band, and I was like, whoa. I want to do that. It was like I'd been to like a good handful of shows before that, but it was that show, or there was like, I sometimes roll my eyes at like, well, I used to roll my eyes at like the idea of like representation because it just didn't like click for me. But like watching them play and their band, where it was like mostly like women and seeing like a Black person on the stage, I'm like, holy moly. I kind of want to try this rock and roll thing. And so that was kind of like a bit of a catalyst for me. And I started like learning how to play guitar in my U of A dorm room while I was avoiding doing homework. And over the years, it sort of just started into me like playing like acoustic, sometimes at the campus bar, occasionally at Rockin' for Dollars, and then also just like wanting to learn how to record myself and just sort of doing that with like whatever tools I had at any time. So like it started off with me singing into an iPhone and like playing my guitar and like editing on a Audacity, because that's like what I had access to at the time. And I like over time have since like moved on to like GarageBand and other things. But anyways, that is sort of like where STEM Champ started. And then over time I was like, I've always had it in the back of my head that I was like, I want to play in like a rock band and like try and figure out how to like sound like the bands that I love listening to, which is a lot of like emo, indie punk, indie rock type vibes. And yeah, over time it all just sort of like fell into place. Yeah.
So what was like the meet cute, so to speak? Like how did, Zane, how did you get involved with STEM Champ?
Texted Sarah on Instagram. We were strange. I think we'd matched on Tinder a couple times.
Okay.
We were essentially strangers.
Yeah.
Want to jam?
Yeah. Was there like something like some sort of like essence or like element of it that really like drew you in, that you were like, oh yeah, I want to rock out with this person?
Yeah. I went to a show, and it was a solo show, obviously. And the songs were nice, and I thought, oh, this is the songs that it's like a punk band, but just one person.
Yeah.
Why not add more?
Totally.
What if it's me?
And then it was.
Then it was.
Yeah, and it was really the catalyst, because I got this message over the summer, and I was like, I read it, and I was like, I kind of want to start a band, but I'm just like, now's not the time. I don't know. It was just like I felt like the fall was coming, and like I had a hunch that things would slow down in the fall, which they did. And so I like messaged you back, and I was like, I'm into the idea of STEM Champ the band, but let's revisit this in the fall. And then we did. And then like Caitlin and Daniela came on board like pretty quickly after that. Yeah.
Tongue has gone sour. You dream of your son holding hands with another man, then you wake up to take your last shower. Dress me in his clothes, and when I turn down a rose, he starts to explode. This is the road less traveled, with more gravel, but thy knees ain't that scraped up yet. This is the road less traveled, with more gravel, but my knees ain't that scraped up yet. But when I get to the end of the road, I am sure that I'll be sold on this life that I have chose. So burn, baby, burn, burn, baby, burn, burn, baby, burn, burn. Burn, baby, burn, burn, baby, burn, burn, baby, burn, burn. Burn, baby, burn, burn, baby, burn, burn, baby, burn, burn. Burn, baby, burn, burn, baby, burn, burn, baby, burn, burn. Burn, baby, burn, burn, baby, burn, burn, baby, burn, burn. Burn, baby, burn, burn, baby, burn, burn, baby, burn, burn. I'll see you in hell.
So I guess, everyone has their own kind of stories of like how they come to music. I love the one that you said you were at the Tegan and Sarah concert. Zane, was there something like a moment or a person or an experience in your life that brought you into music as well?
I mean, I was in the marching band.
Okay.
In high school.
Yeah.
And then I went to Edmonton, and there was bands, and I lived with the drummer.
Yeah.
And I went to McEwen.
Okay. And speaking of Edmonton, I guess you said you went to Edmonton. So where are both of you from?
Sylvan Lake.
Sylvan Lake.
Yeah, and I'm from Grand Prairie, and so is Caitlin as well. And and Daniela's from here. Well, Washington / Florida, but mostly here.
Okay. Yeah. And now, like, being in Edmonton, would you say that being here has an influence on your creativity and like being an artist here? Is there do you feel that, or?
I think so. Like, I find myself writing about just like Edmonton, whether it's like name dropping like the Black Dog or the Buckingham, or even just like the River Valley. I feel like every summer, especially in recent years with the pandemic, I found myself like getting like re-energized just by spending time outside, and especially spending time with friends like in the River Valley. And that's something that really like inspires me a lot, and I think comes through in some of the songs. And also aside from that, like I love Edmonton. I just think it's like it's like a fun place to be, like a musician like myself who's like mostly self-taught, and I just feel like there's so many people here who are like so down to like help you out and like teach you things if you ask. And yeah.
Yeah, totally. Like there's a pretty good like community of folks who, you know, everyone's a beginner at some point, and so it's like really fun to be able to connect with people on that level. And yeah, like speaking more about like writing music too, I know that that happens for people in different ways, and you know the creative process is different for everyone. But what does that kind of look like, I guess, for STEM Champ? Is it kind of evolving now that it's a band?
Most definitely. So before it would just be like me sitting in my living room, like frantically writing something and like just like finishing it and being like, we're done. I'm going to go play some Rockin' for Dollars now. But like it sort of feels like more of a like evolving process, which feels really cool. Cause I put out the Kill the Imposter EP in the fall. And then shortly after we all started like playing music together. And it was really cool to sort of just like reimagine these songs with like a full band and like take these songs as they existed as like a mostly like somewhat like MIDI acoustic type project and be like, okay, let's do this, but like full band. And even like since the fall, like it's been kind of fun. Like there's some songs we hadn't played in a while up until like this past week, and we were revisiting them, and we just sort of like played around with the structure a bit, and it's been really cool to just sort of like bounce ideas off people and like build collectively. And I've just sort of been seeing songs more as like a evolving like piece rather than something that I'm like, all right, it's done. And so that's been really cool. And yeah,
songs can definitely evolve over time, like, and you're like, as the creator, like you're the ones who like live with it the longest too, right? Sorry, did you have something to add there, Zane?
I don't.
Okay, I saw you grab the mic. It's all good. Yeah, and like, I don't know, I've always thought of songs also like they're kind of like these snapshots, and like you get to like look back at them and like all your recordings. So that's going to be so cool to look back at like your initial EPs and then what you're doing in the future. Hey,
definitely. Even like in a micro sense, like listening back to like when we first were like, let's be a band, yes. And like even like over the past like 3 or 4 months now, it's kind of cool just like seeing how these songs have grown with us and how we've like learned to play with each other and write with each other. It's been really cool.
So with STEM Champ the band now, and you've been reworking songs, I'm guessing you're also writing new ones as well, or kind of in the process. But in terms of like a vision for STEM Champ, is there kind of like a grand vision, or is it kind of, you know, oh, we just want it to, you know, feel in the moment and we're just going to kind of take it as it comes? Like, I don't know. How does it feel for you guys, like looking ahead?
I think the big pipeline dream is STEM Champ the band, the musical, obviously. But that's obviously a ways away.
I would love to see that.
Yeah. I think maybe before we get to STEM Champ the band, the musical, I don't know. I think a lot of this project, when I was like mostly doing things solo, was a lot of like, I really like gave myself time and space to like explore creatively, and I like hope to sort of like carry that through with us like as we continue making music together, because like I don't know, I don't really believe in deadlines. It'll happen when it happens, and it's just sort of been fun like figuring things out as they happen. And it's like I guess like maybe taking a little more intention into like figuring out our like sound and like refining it a bit more, because like right now I feel like we're very much in a like place of like play and exploration, and like taking that and like building a more refined sound, I think, is something that like we'll be working towards. But yeah
Well, I love what you said though about like the word just like play, even because like I think you know, if we're talking about like the business or the industry of music, like a lot of times like you just get bogged down with so much of the other stuff that comes with being a musician and all the things that take you away from playing. And I think that's something like I've always really loved about STEM Champ too, is like the playfulness that you bring to it. And it feels really fearless too to me, I think, because it's like, okay, we don't need to like wait to start. Like you just start to do it, and it's all part of the process. And I think it's like super beautiful. So,
Thanks.
yeah.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, totally. And so I'm really, really excited to see, where STEM Champ, the band, ends up taking this for sure. In terms of musical influences, I mean, we all have them growing up for sure, but what about now? Would you say like other music and musicians and sounds influence you as musicians a lot and artists?
Oh yeah. Lately I find myself listening a lot to a band called Swearin', and I'm just like, I love what they do. There's also like this group, or like it's a project out of Philadelphia called Harmony Woods. And her latest record, Graceful Rage, was produced by Barty Strange, who's like a phenomenal musician, writer, producer. And he produced this record, which is just this like emo meets like singer-songwriter, like pop punk. And I'm just like, this is the sickest thing I've listened to in a while. And I like keep coming back to it. And it's just like, I don't know, I feel like it like perfectly blends like Midwest emo meets like these like pop punk-esque like breakdowns. But it also has like a very like somewhat like refined like indie rock sound. And I'm just like, that's cool. I don't know. That's the type of stuff I've been listening to lately and been digging.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been listening to Dave King is drummer. He has a radio show. He had a radio show for 5 years. I've been listening to it every day now,
That's commitment.
and a lot of jazz.
A lot of jazz.
A lot of jazz, a lot of the Lounge Lizards. I just found out about.
I like the name a lot. The Lounge Lizards.
Yeah, me too. Like the music. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of songs. I've listened to a lot of songs lately.
Yeah, just like singles kind of thing, or
No, just like
oh.
albums.
Okay, albums more. Yeah, because I'm always wondering because like nowadays with like streaming and everything, you know, like there's lots of playlists and singles are a big thing. But like I don't know, but I guess I just found out now about y'all. But album listening and like I don't want to shuffle it.
Like, not to be cheesy, but like, you know, like the writer and the people behind the project put like time and effort into like telling the story and like packaging like the music in this way that they wanted it to be presented, and I'm like, that's cool. But I also really dig like Spotify playlists for like finding new artists and like new music that I might not otherwise like hear. But I always love like a good like album listen.
Yeah, but yeah, there's a lot of like really good discovery like just for finding new artists. Then you can kind of latch on and become obsessed and go down the wormhole.
Definitely.
Yeah. If you could share a stage with 2 other artists, or let's say 3, 2 seems like too small, 3 other bands or artists, who would it be?
So many. Let me think. I'm like visioning it. There's this band out of Baltimore that I found out about because of the internet, called Pink Shift, and I'm just like so into what they do, and I would love to share stage with them someday. Also, Where's local band, we're playing a show with them really soon, which is like, whoa, so cool. I saw Cassia solo as like one of the first shows I went to when I first moved to Edmonton, and it's just like I've been like hooked with like what Where's is up to ever since, and I really like the music, and and third, another artist I've been really digging lately is a band solo project. Well, they're called Oso Oso, and I'm just obsessed with like their writing, and just like, I don't know, I like listen to the guitar parts and I'm like, this feels like they're dancing. I don't know how else to describe it, but yeah, I would say like Pink Shift, Where's, and Oso Oso, and STEM Champ.
Exactly.
Dream lineup. Thank you.
Totally.
Where's was also the first show. No, not the first one, but one of the first ones that I saw
Nice.
when I moved.
Or what
So
if you were at the
memorable,
same
too.
show? What if you were and you just didn't know it?
I mean, okay, the show I went to was at the Bricks. It was Ted Leo and the Pharmacist. Actually, I think he was just playing as like a solo or whatever. And Cassia was opening.
Different show.
Darn.
Mine was the EP release.
Question my dreams. Oh, that's sweet. So how can people stay in touch with STEM Champ? What are the best ways? I know that you are just killing it on TikTok, so let's get that one out there.
Sure. Yeah, I am chronically online. We're on TikTok at STEM Champ. If people want to find us on Instagram, Twitter. I recently created a Facebook. You could be one of the first 10 people to like our page. We're that new. Our handle's just at STEMChamp780 on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I made a website the other day, STEMChamp780.com. We're also on Bandcamp. That's so many places people can find us. Yeah. But yeah, those are the big ones. Awesome. Also, just around Edmonton.
We're here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
99th Street in particular, we're around.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I just want to say thanks again so much for sharing your time with me for this. And yeah, just wish you guys the very best. I can't wait to see what happens.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
And thanks again for having us. This has been super cool.